Honor Club, where honor is real.
You mentioned that not only was Ring of Honor not making money for you, it was losing money, but you kept the company alive, even though it didn't make personal financial sense to you, just because, as you said, several reasons. Maybe one was ego, you don't want to let it go, but I think it was mainly rooted in you loved professional wrestling, you loved the company, you knew it was a good product, so you kept it going even when, your financial analyst was probably saying you should let it go. But then Sinclair Broadcasting comes around, and I know the story is there are a couple players involved here. Jim Cornette's working with Ring of Honor. Jim Cornette knew, of course, Gary Juster, longtime pro wrestling promoter at WCW, the NWA. But Jim knows Gary. Gary knows Joe Koff from Sinclair Broadcast Group. And you were brought together. There's a meeting here through all these, 6 degrees of separation. You and Joe Koff have a meeting, and it results in the company being sold to Sinclair Broadcast Group. Was it bittersweet to have to give up ownership? Was it a relief in the sense that it would no longer be a financial drain on you? Were you satisfied that you were going to see the company continue, or was it all of those things?
It was a perfect storm. I'm able to sell the company. Thought I would get more money. That's all right. And but also keep the product alive. And Joe and I hit it off. He's a New York guy and an old wrestling fan. He wanted to keep things going, and he wanted to keep me around. It was Ring of Honor at that point over those years. It was like, how can I describe it, Kevin? Everybody felt like it was their own. If you were a fan, it was their own. It was their own little. They were part of Ring of Honor too.
Right, very much like the old ECW was. Same kind of vibe.
Right. So it was the best of both worlds. It was hard, I'll tell you. It took over a year and a quarter to get the deal done. You would have thought they were buying, you would have thought Sinclair, and I'm not knocking Sinclair, I'm grateful for them, but you would have thought they were buying this massive entity. They did everything, what do they call that? The due diligence?
Due diligence, yes.
Man, did they do Man, they did some diligence. And I'm like, when is this going to happen? It was the perfect storm. So here we are. That was May or June of 2011. And here we are 9 years later, and Ring of Honor, just think, if we make it to am I doing my math right? What was the last anniversary? If we make it to 2002, we can have a 20th anniversary show.
Exactly. Yeah, 2022 would be the 20th anniversary. Is that right? Yes.
Boy, if we're not at a show with live people by then, I think we'll both be, I don't know what we'll be doing, but that would be nice.
Yes, for sure. We talked a little bit there about Jim Cornette sort of being a key figure in this. You brought Cornette into the company, correct? That was your idea, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a really good, and he was there as a talent behind the scenes. We're talking 04, 05, 06. And he had quite a few appearances during that period of time. But, and then when the HDNet came along, Jim was integral. Jim knew how to do TV, and Adam Pearce would tell you that he really didn't. So Jim was steady with us during that period, and as you said, he knew Gary Juster, who knew Joe Koff. So I guess if it wasn't for Cornette, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. I had a couple of half-baked offers along the way. I never speak about it much, but we'll give the listeners a little exclusive. And I never even spoke about this, even on Last Stop Penn Station. I was contacted one time by Jerry Jarrett,
Really? I've never heard. Yeah, you've never spoken about this.
It was like, I did not speak to him personally. You know, he was originally, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he an original TNA owner, partial owner?
Yes.
Right. And there was falling out, blah, blah, blah. So he was looking to get, this is like 2007, but it was just like a sniff. And then, you know, it's weird how society has changed, because I get a text message. I get a text message in like 2010, and I don't think he would be upset at me. CM Punk texts me out of nowhere. What would you want to sell Ring of Honor? Now, even though I'm not, you know, I've hustled tickets on the street and I've had a somewhat successful, legitimate business, I don't think text messaging is the way to approach sales of companies.
Right.
You know, but those were my only two real, and they weren't real. They were just like, those are the only two rinky-dink offers I ever had. Kevin, I knew I had value with the library, even in 2010, let alone now. Right. Now that we have a hell of a library, which is a good reason to join Honor Club. Absolutely.
$9.99 a month. What a deal.
So I was thinking back in 2010, oh, geez, I got this footage. You know, Punk was becoming a big deal in WWE, and Samoa Joe and TNA and all these other guys that had come through, all those guys from the very early period, whether it was, you know, the Japanese talent, an Austin Aries, a Steve Corino, a Homicide, you know, the whole catalog. But anyway, I went off track there, but Jim's been an integral, was always in. I hold this claim, Kevin. I think I'm one of the only promoters in the history of pro wrestling that Jim never had a major blowout with.
Well, I can't let this go without rewinding a second here about the CM Punk thing. Did you ever? Okay, he texted you. Like you said, not the greatest way to inquire about such a purchase. Did you ever have a conversation with him?
No. I like CM Punk, and I have spoken to him over recent years. I'm not buddy with him, but we have spoken. But no, he in 2010, his business tactics weren't the best, or else it was just a fleeting thought by a friend of his, let's say.
Yeah, gotcha.
2021 is a new year, a fresh start, and Ring of Honor wants to know about your dream matches.
Yeah, who do you see challenging for the Pure title? What feuds do you think should continue?
Be the matchmaker. Use the hashtag #ChooseYourHonor
and let us hear about your dream matches.